Guys, I am back. Did you miss me? Oh my God, guys, I missed you so much. It's been way too long. I hope in the month since I've been gone, you felt like a little something was missing from your week. I know I have. So to make up for it today, I've got like a super stream for you in the sense that it's a little longer than it should be. But you know what? I mean, indulge me. It's been a little while. Watch the whole thing. Share it, retweet it, post it, email it to your aunt, whatever you want to do. Let's get right to it, shall we? Donald J. Trump, Kim Jong-un, seemingly a match made in heaven. You know, DJT, KJU, they're both temperamental, whiny, narcissistic babies. You think they'd understand each other perfectly, but like two swollen, sweaty, poopy babies, they're incapable of understanding anybody but themselves. So when Donald Trump decided that he was going to be the one to negotiate with the scariest bowl cut fade combo the world's ever seen, I, like many of you, was scared shitless. But here we are. You know, we were just coming off the heels of a new Winter Olympics united Korea. Talks were happening. It seemed like maybe all Kim Jong-un needed was the validation that he was a real leader and his country was a real country, that he just needed to feel legit, you know? So how did we get to where we are now in this kind of on again, off again, are we gonna die, are we not gonna die, lead up to this summit? Well, let's go all the way back to March 8th. That's when President Trump was hanging with his new pal, President Moon and the South Koreans. And President Moon was like, hey, DJ, Kim Jong-un, he like really wants to hang out with you. He thinks you're like so hardcore. And Donald Trump was like, yeah, I know, I am hardcore. That's cool. Let's do it. Like, didn't even let him like talk about it a little bit more, get details. He just went balls to the wall and agreed. And that moment always reminds me of that episode of Family Guy. You know, the one where Peter and the gang, they go to that timeshare guy just to get the boats, right? They're just gonna sit through the meeting to get the boats. But then the timeshare guy, he's like, hey, yeah, I mean, you could have the boats, or you could take the mystery box. And Peter gets a little excited, and Lois is like, no, come on, let's just take the boats. And he's like, no, screw that, we're taking the box. Except I don't think at the end of this episode, President Trump is gonna learn anything about what the female experience is like. But anyway, he agrees to the meeting, and I'll give this to DJT. Up to this point, there's no question of the fact that diplomatic negotiations and the status quo with North Korea, that sure as shit wasn't working. So if President Trump needed to be the president that has gone to where no president has gone to before, to actually sit at the table and work out a deal with North Korea, hey, I am all for that. If it gets us to a place where I feel safe living on the West Coast, that is great. But the Trump administration, being the Trump administration, they sure as shit were not gonna let that go smoothly. Because you gotta remember, right after he agreed to this meeting, he fired his Secretary of State and his National Security Advisor. And the guy that he decided to replace his National Security Advisor, H.R. McMaster, with, that's John Bolton. And John Bolton is one bad hombre. You see, he kind of rose to political fame when he was George W. Bush's interim foreign policy advisor. But he didn't decide to take the permanent position because he and the administration knew that he would never pass a Senate confirmation hearing. So instead, he went to the B job. He was a Fox News pundit where he was like their most infamous war hawk. This guy called for regime changes in Iran, Syria, Libya, and North Korea. This guy still insists to this day that the Iraq War was a good idea. And he decided to tout off in his new position as National Security Advisor that the North Koreans should follow the Libyan model of denuclearization. And the North Koreans, well, they didn't like that very much. You see, because the Libyan model of denuclearization ended in Libya feeling super shafted that they got a raw deal in giving up their nukes, and ended with them brutally murdering their leader Muammar Gaddafi in the streets. Now, the vice president decided to try and quell things, like calm everyone down by saying, hey, North Korea, listen, it's only gonna end in the Libyan model if Kim Jong-un refuses to negotiate, essentially threatening Kim Jong-un's life. So the North Koreans are like, this guy is a, quote, political dummy, and we're not going to deal with this. And I'm sure there are plenty of Trump-Pence 2020 fanatics that have already gotten that emblazoned all over t-shirts, and I can't wait to see that. Now, Pence was pretty pissed, and Donald Trump, being the bro dog that he is, was like, hey, listen, you don't come after my boy like that. You're clearly very upset, and I'm not going to let this slide. These talks are done. And that's one of Donald Trump's like signature art of the deal moves, like break up with them before they break up with you. Just walk away from the table. And it kind of worked, maybe, because North Korea was like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's okay, like, we'll talk, we can talk, let's talk. And Trump was like, okay. And so now we've got two diplomatic teams in Asia trying to last minute work out some logistics so this thing can happen in less than 2 weeks. Now, this comes to probably my favorite latest detail. On Tuesday, The Hill reported that the CIA had learned last month that North Korea will not and was never going to give up its nuclear weapons. But what they are willing to do, and this is real, is open up a McDonald's in Pyongyang because they know how much President Trump likes it. Boom, roasted, Kim Jong, Michael Scott-un out. I mean, that is legendary. If I wasn't so sure that we're going to be vaporized, I'd be really laughing right now. But here we are. I mean, is Donald Trump going to slam the nuclear button and fire nuclear warheads at North Korea because he's pissed that everyone knows he loves a quarter pounder? I don't really know. But until then, I guess we'll just have to wait and see if this North Korean summit actually happens, and if it goes wrong, what that means for us. Until that happens, though, I'll be sitting right here, rounding up politics the best way I know how, here in the soon-to-be former city of Los Angeles. I hope you'll join me every single week, assuming there is a week to be had. Until that point, 202-224-3121. Call your senators. I'll be posting a bonus episode in a couple days on Monday for the California primary. So if you're a California voter, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Santa Cruz, whatever, tune in for that. I'll be breaking down the confusing judicial ballot, what those weird ballot measures mean, all that sort of stuff. So tune in. I love you guys. It's so good to be back, and I will see you next time on Stream America.